of $5 per firearms transaction, but it would save business owners considerable times and monies. Furthermore, the cost to the state running the PICS system would be nullified. We trust that you will make a prudent decision regarding the method of background checks needed for the Commonwealth. The firearm dealers have as much or more invested in making sure that firearms do not fall into the hands of criminals. We have worked with our local ATF agents on numerous occasions to further these efforts. We also work closely with the National Shooting Sports Foundation, NSSF, via programs such as Don't Lie for the Other Guy, which attempts to prevent straw sales. We want to continue our close partnership with all agencies. All we request is a system that allows us to be efficient and effective. I thank you, Mr. Chairman, and the committee members for the opportunity to testify here today. We will gladly answer any questions you may have at this time. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Romanoff. The committee notes the presence of Senator Alloway and Representative Mustio, and also Representative Stevenson, I believe, has a bill in the House that would allow the concealed carry permit to supplant the PICS system for those who have it. Do we have questions from members of the committee? Senator Furlow.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. First of all, good morning to everybody. You gave one delineated list from ACE Sporting Goods on downtimes. It's a couple pages long and suggests upwards of 20 minutes and more. Do you have catalogs or some information on all the other stores, or is there some accumulative list of how often the system has been down? I assume this is one store or one instance, or throughout your whole system?
To answer that, Senator, I do not have catalog times as such as ours, but you must remember that they are using the same system at the same time, perhaps not as frequently as we are, maybe some larger stores more frequently, so they obviously have to experience the same things we are.
So is your delineated list one store, or is it across your system?
It is one store. It is our store.
Okay. And is it true that 35 states only utilize the NICS system, as opposed to having their own state version as well, or not? I'm not sure.
Would you repeat that, sir?
Is it true that over 35 states, or some 35 states, utilize the federal system and don't have their own duplicative system within the state?
Yeah, there are a number of states, and I believe 35 is accurate. There are a couple that are in the process of converting from point of contact to the NICS. Oregon, for one, is in the process of doing that as well.
And you raised this issue about individuals who may either visually or actually have physical disability in terms of what they need to sign. You raised some issue about being in violation of the ADA or something.
Right, Senator,
what does that mean? I don't know the actual system.
Let me explain to you a little bit in a more comprehensive manner. We happen to have 3 customers who are blind, and they are firearms collectors, shooting enthusiasts.
It's definitely a newspaper article right there. Go ahead.
Under federal law, an individual is allowed to purchase a firearm if they are not able to fill out the federal form. What they have to do is have 2 employee non-witnesses watch and listen as we answer the question, not as we physically answer, but we note what they write down. In Pennsylvania, if you buy a rifle or shotgun, you do not have to fill out this specific handgun form. So consequently, if you can't read, if you're blind, if you don't have use of your arms, you can buy a rifle or shotgun.
Right.
But when it comes to a handgun, it has been stated to us that it must be in the individual's handwriting that he fills out the handgun form. There's no witnessing of that aspect. And to just cite something which I found very intriguing and enterprising, we have a young man who's been blind probably for about 20 years, loves firearms, he shoots them with the help of friends. He made a template which fits right over the Pennsylvania State Police's handgun form, and he now can fill out that form and sign it. And the way we believe, He has filled it out in his own handwriting. He can buy a firearm. But my question is, why should we have a citizen of the Commonwealth have to go to all that expense and effort and to purchase a firearm which he has the right to
Just
do?
to be clear on that, is that an administrative procedure or protocol of the state police, or is that a statutory reference of some sort?
To my knowledge, it's the state police's call on that. It's not statutory.
And just for public disclosure, I don't like the politics of the NRA. I'm probably liberal progressive by way of ideology and politics, but I'm actually a member of the NRA because I'm a very strong believer in both the federal and state constitution as it relates to the right to purchase and bear arms, period. No questions asked. Now, that's not the law, but I'm just letting you know. So I have a libertarian view on this issue, and I guess I have to hear from the state police because I have a lot of faith and trust in our state police. I want to know why, what this problem is, but more importantly, is there a need for this duplicative effort, and what exactly, and I don't know the answer to this, and I'm being educated this morning, what is it that the state police do in terms of background checks or some additional overlay or oversight as opposed to the federal system? So I hope through the hearing this morning I can become educated on that issue. But I believe in the state constitution, and when it comes to my opposition to Marcellus Shale, in terms of our Declaration of Rights on clean air and water, I also believe likewise with the right to bear arms. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Chairman Furlow. We learn something new every day.
That's right.
Happy to have you in the ranks of NRA membership.
A rating.
And I was wondering how you were going to fit Marcellus Shale into instant background checks. So, because every hearing I've been with you, you brought up Marcellus Shale. So the chairman notes the presence of Senator Farnese.
These hunters can't go on game lands anymore. They're going to join my cause.
Thank you. Thank you. Senator Yaw, please.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. If you can, I'd like to know the answer to the question what's the difference between the information that's under the national check system versus Pennsylvania? I don't quite understand why we have two.
Well, I think the state police are probably the people to ask that. They have stated to us that they access several databases that the NICS system does not. I think they can probably answer that better than we can.
But 35 other states have just the NICS system, is that correct?
Yes, sir.
Also, it's noteworthy, and I'm sure the state police will mention that their system does loop through the national system in Clarksburg, West Virginia, to get more data also.
All right, thank you.
A couple questions, and we purposely have the state police going last so they can answer all these questions and respond. But also, if there's any testimony that's provided and you don't have the chance to respond, this isn't a debate, you're welcome to provide a response to us in writing, and it will be posted on our website as part of the information for the hearing. I'd like to discuss very briefly this attachment on page 4 of your testimony. It's titled PICS System Lag Times and Shutdowns. I think there are two issues that are on the minds of committee members. One is the system itself and how it's operating, and are there things that can be done to make it more efficient? And two, you do have the philosophical debate as to whether or not we should have our own system, and that's a much more extended debate. The challenge I have here is this isn't a new issue. We've been dealing with this for a while. Over the years, I've asked the state police for responses, usually from when you call my office and complain. And finally, I said, well, I was hearing from the state police that, and even in their testimony, that their system was only down 1.8% of the time, that they have a 98% availability rate, and the NCIS is something, or 91%. So if I listen to state police testimony, which we'll hear soon, they will tell you that they're down less than 2% of the time. Yet you give me your actual times in March, and I think, is this partly because I told you start telling me when it's down? And I probably shouldn't have done that, because now you've done that for a few months. But can you talk a little bit about these experiences? It looks like March 3rd, 4th, 9th, 10th, 11th, 12th, 3 times on the 12th, 15th, 2 times on the 17th, 18th, 19th, 22nd, 23rd, 25th, and 28th. Can you speak a little bit to that? Because I think that's one of the main purposes of this hearing.
Surely, Senator. The system is not down on that whole time. However, there are times, especially it seems on weekends and Saturdays, and I will give credit to the Pennsylvania State Police. When we have a promotion or there are major firearms gun shows throughout the Commonwealth, we call a week or two ahead of time, and they do their best to put more staff on to handle the calls. However, when we get into our busy days, which is usually Saturday, we have had an inordinate number of shutdowns. Now, you say, what is a shutdown? Is it 1 minute, 2 minutes, 5 minutes, or 2 hours? We don't know when the system is going to be shut down. And we don't know especially of what the duration is going to be. In my testimony, I mentioned that. A customer drives a significant amount of miles to our store either to make a purchase or to pick up a firearm. We try to call in. The system is down. The message we get, we are experiencing temporary problems. Please call back. We do not know whether that's going to last 5 minutes, which sometimes it does, 20 minutes, which sometimes it does, a half hour, 45 minutes. What is the customer to do? What are our employees to do? It puts us virtually out of business of selling unless the customer wants to wait around our store, number one, or number two, make a return trip, or number three, hopefully not go down to one of my competitors out of state and make the purchase.
17 miles away.
Cabela's is 17 miles away. It could be any dealer in Ohio or West Virginia or Maryland, as the case may be. The delays are the thing that is really unbelievable. Just visualize our employees trying to call in, and we're put on a hold or cannot even get through. And it's amazing. We will even sometimes say, hey, the system's up. Calls are getting through. The system may not be physically down, but they're not answering the calls, or it takes us an inordinate amount of time to even get through to an operator who then has to go through the paperwork and determine whether the person is eligible to buy the firearm.
Thank you. Senator Farnese?
Thank you, Mr. Chairman, and I apologize for my tardiness. I was at a press conference. Mr. Romanoff, thank you for your testimony and opportunity
You're welcome.
to read through it. I just want to sort of get back to some of the questioning about the delays. I understand the situation, especially with having another the dealer's down 17 miles away. I can understand what that's like and the competitive nature of the industry and having to deal with that. So I can understand your concern over that and the timing delays. But I guess I do look at these times. I look at 51 minutes. Back on May 3rd, you had a wait of 20 minutes. Geez, there's people that wait 20 minutes for Comcast to get on the phone sometimes, and this is about a purchase for a gun. Is that really? Are we really talking about? Can you quantify this in terms of dollars and cents? What a 20-minute delay. And I understand any kind of a delay, especially when you have a room full of customers. But we are talking about a significant purchase here, and it's a firearm. But of course, I'm not taking a position on either way. I just like to try to understand if you could quantify what that means for your business, a 20-minute delay, a 50-minute delay, an hour delay. Because quite frankly, we experience delays. Like I said, if I had a dime for every time my mom tells me she's on the phone with Comcast waiting to get them on the phone, I'd be a millionaire. But again, and it's understandable. People are busy, and it's all different industries like that. So if you could just sort of do your best to quantify, if possible, what that means to you.
I'll try to answer that, Senator. We can quantify it into dollars and cents, but let's back up a second. When the system is working as it should, we're dealing with a process that might take 5 minutes or less. Typically, the people that work with the NICS system, that's typically what they experience. Not that that system is perfect and there are never any issues. We're not here to try to make that case. When we start talking about delays, being on the phone for 20 minutes or 50 minutes or whatever it might be, when 5 minutes is the norm, the way it's supposed to work, 20 minutes is a problem. 15 minutes is